My name's Ian Lewis. I'm the CEO and founder of Rapid Infection Diagnostics. So, our company started with a visit to one of our largest consolidated testing labs in Canada. I'm a technology expert, and when I went there, I was shocked by the state of the technology that stands between people and getting life saving diagnosis for bloodstream or urinary tract infections. Currently, it can take anywhere from 2 to 4 days to find out what kind of infections people have and what kind of antibiotics they need to prescribe them. And what's taking that length of time is waiting for microbes to grow in culture. And that was just a total shock to me as a technology expert. We have instruments that can measure single molecules with a mass spectrometer, and we're waiting for bacteria to grow in order to figure out what drugs to give people. And so when I visited there, I thought, hey, there's got to be a better way. And so I've been working with the technology team for 10 years to try and address that problem. Our technology is based around a novel concept. So currently, the way infections are diagnosed is effectively fancy different ways to see if microbes grow or don't grow. We do something totally different. We measure all the molecules that microbes eat and all the molecules that they secrete over fixed periods of time. This technology of metabolomics technology allows us to very quickly identify microbes and to find out what antibiotics they respond to. So, what's our technology in a nutshell? We provide rapid identification of microbes, antibiotic susceptibility testing, along with their minimum inhibitory concentrations that the microbes respond to, all in an automation compatible format that's low cost and directly addresses the needs of our large scale consolidated lab partners. Microbial infections are a major problem. They're one of the they're one of the leading causes for outpatient visits, and they're also one of the major drivers for complications in inpatient infections. Bloodstream infections alone, there are 500,000 of them a year here in the US. In the case of urinary tract infections, half of all women will have urinary tract infections over the course of their lives. Every hour that elapses between the onset of symptoms for a bloodstream infection and when you get the right antibiotic dictates how severe an infection you're going to get. If in the first 2 to 4 days, while clinicians are waiting to get their lab results back, they're just guessing which antibiotics to give you. And if they guess wrong, your chances of dying go up 5% per hour. And up to 34% of infections right now are being prescribed the wrong antibiotic because it takes so long in order to get the lab results back. One of the big problems with microbiology testing is that although a lot of companies have recognized this technology gap, most of them are developing technologies that look very similar. In the US, 40% of testing is done in small hospital labs, and as a result, most of the technology that's being developed looks the same. They're tests that are require manual intervention, they can be costly, and they're low throughput. And all that works fine for hospital labs. There's a critically important unaddressed market segment, which is the consolidated labs that can't use those tools. So, consolidated labs in the US are 34% of the market. Abroad, in places like Canada, is up to 70% of testing is done by these large scale consolidated labs. And they operate under totally different market principles. For the consolidated labs to adopt technologies, they have to be low cost, automation compatible, high throughput, while delivering data at the same level of performance that we see for those smaller scale platforms. In order to address the needs of these consolidated labs, the tools just have to be different. They got to be engineered from the ground up in order to meet these high volume customers. And our technology has been built from the ground up to address these large lab customers. Let's talk about how this technology works. So the core invention that this technology is built around is a concept called metabolic flux analysis. What we do is we measure the rates that microbes consume nutrients and secrete nutrients. And what we built is a technology that standardizes that concept into a technology that can be deployed in clinical reference labs. The foundation of it is that we use a mass spectrometer to measure the molecular concentrations of these small molecule metabolites that are brought into or secreted from microbes. And in order to standardize that, we engineered a custom microbial containment device. It's a small consumable plate that holds the microbes in a sterile chamber and then allows us to analyze those microbial exudates over time using the mass spec. In addition, we had to create our own engineered microbial growth medium specifically for this technology, and that allows us to use our mass spectrometer to decode these patterns in order to identify which microbe is which. One of the most exciting things that's happened in our company now is that we just launched our first alpha site in Edmonton. This is like one of Canada's largest reference labs, and our instrument is now running head to head against the current microbiology pipeline. If this trial goes well, we're on the path to being adopted in one of Canada's largest reference labs. So it's 8% of the Canadian market directly. And our second lab is coming online and collectively will give us, if the studies go well, 15% of the Canadian market in our current testing. We're really pleased to have recently published a landmark paper in Metabolomics Diagnosis of Urinary Tract Infections. This is a really exciting new expansion of our technology. We've previously shown that you can use this technology to diagnose bloodstream infections, but we've recently shown with a panel of 1,500 patients that we can screen out and identify people with urinary tract infections in as little as 40 seconds. That study is just published in Nature Communications, and we're excited to be integrating this new concept into our emerging platform here at Rapid.